Chapter 7, Lives Lessons. Yes, men ordinate themselves the following day, someone looked contemplatively at Abooksigun and his men. Saying this, Abooksigun became upset and called a meeting. On Sivriun gathered in the front lawn, Sebat has sent us here to liberate you from your oppressors, and you upon us as someone who has wronged you. You are free now. Some of you women made fainted in your hair to marry some of them in her real. You must return to your femininity and not your masculine white stuff in such a husband, or else there will be chastened household or no household. No household equal no family, which equals no community. This disease will spread to your child, and the cycle will repeat itself for generations to come. In the past, domestic violence was the heaviest among your people, female and female. But that's not how it was in our motherland. Well, not until the practice of child morality and the victim for moral ritual came into play. You submit to the sort of fear, but can you submit to kill a man with godly love, or do you disrespect him because he can't protect you? Just like many centuries ago. For you know, if he does, his punishment will be death. Can you not say that they designed this system previously for this and this reason alone? If you knew your history, you would be aware of the past and not follow down the similar path our ancestors did before us. Or are you blinded by the hatred you have for your men? How do you raise your sons compared to your daughters? If you are contempt for your men, and it comes out like fear. Even with a smile on your face, you're hurt, and shall spill out this hatred for him. A man must deny himself and submit to God. A woman must do the same for her man. If you can do so, don't look for a man and learn to live by yourself. We have a minister and woman where you come from, like my mother, a true warrior, but when she married my father, she submitted to him, and they had a happy family because Sebat united him. Likewise, you must too. There may come a time when some of you may have to share your husband like in days of old. Why? For too many men now and men, and secondly, there are too many women compared to men, but if that's not your thing, deal with your mindset and accept it whatever your decision may be. It is your thinking, not his. Whether it cause more you or not, remain strong to your people. Where I am from, even as Whitelands, our women have made magnificent accomplishments but still honored their men. They have pitted us against another to many times in this land. Implemented of the unfamed government agency, the Central Intelligence Agency, which bowed drugs and fit them to our communities to further war. Just like the government provided alcohol to alternatives and create generations of alcoholics who did from lavatory houses. Or the time they set up the cap against crime. Again in politician and revolutionary. Many of our people celebrated his death along with others believing the less they told us. Years later, Nat called Muammar Gaddafi, a Libyan revolutionary and politician of one of the most prosperous African nations. Many of our people refused to learn the truth as they celebrate his death. Afterward, they enslaved the people from that land. Without delays we have seen for centuries, we remain the world's landing stock and even lack the intelligence to comprehend how far behind we are. We have gone from Moors to Morons. Yes, that's how we are. Our men and women have accomplished a lot in the past, but their lives have blended us. We have had many prominent men and women, and it always took on fall to this real lifetime of work. For instance, women like Cathay Williams of Independence, Miss Sarah, was born to a slave mother and a free father. Even though her name was Cathay Williams, she was known as William Cathay, the first African American female soldier to enlist in the army. Not only that, but she is the only known black female buffalo soldier. Her enlistment was voluntary as a captured slave. They placed her into serving as an army cook and waswoman, which meant she accompanied the infantry all over the country under the service of General Pilot Sheridan, witnessing the Red River campaign and the Battle of Peoria. Job opportunities for newly freed slaves were non-existent. With inequality and lack of access, many had no choice but to turn to military service to afford employment stability, health care, education, and pensions. They did not need any peace skills during that time, and only two people knew who was a dear friend, and her cousin. She performed regular duties like any other man, but it wasn't commit that cut William's military career short but smallpox. Her doctor found out she was a woman, and they discharged her, dressing as a man. Again, se signed up with the Black Regiment, CS3-7, which would eventually become part of the legendary Buffalo Soldiers. Fighting skirmishes with Native Americans, escorted vulnerable wagon trains, built forts, mapped territory, and product to white settlers, all with little to no equipment. Her service brought about her poor health. Her tools were impotent from diabetes, and she suffered from neuralgia, deafness, and rheumatism, which forced her to apply for a military disability pension. But she didn't qualify, not because she was undeserving, but because she had passed as a man. Hundreds of years before her was Queen Amharic, who, at the death of her husband, Emperor Turkides, took over the throne in the Kingdom of Kos. She became one of the most well-known female rulers of the ancient world. She was the most famous candidate out of the 4 female queens who ruled in Kos. She was known as the Queen with Honey, which she lasted none of her furious battles. She was known for her war tactics and ability to duty treat as with the most powerful male ruler of them all, Augustus Caesar. The Roman Empire had already expanded and conquered various territories such as Britain and Cleopatra Egypt, and started passing the southern borders of Egypt and the coast, threatening the Nubians. She led multiple attacks with thousands of soldiers into Roman territory and dethroned status of Emperor Augustus Caesar. To show her distaste for the emperor, she beheaded a statue of him and buried it under the 20 for palace sovereign could walk over her enemy. She even fed her captives to her pet lions. The constant conflict between Kos and the Roman Empire led to the Queen Amharic sitting at an Egyptian table with Augustus Caesar. That treaty between them led to the Kos being free from Roman rule for 300 years. Abooksigun passed, my dear sisters, in order to bring you down but left you. To lift you, you must rebook your way of thinking because it takes a man and a woman to create a community in this unlimited thing has started up. We are not creating kings and queens but hoes and bastards. I am not only blaming you but them too. 2 rounds don't make a right. We all heard from each other's pain to have cast on. Another. Abooksigun saw a young boy paying close attention as he held his neck stretched upward to see him. Pointing at the boy, "What's your name, young man?" The boy pointed at himself. "Whoa, me?" Abooksigun smiled. "Yes, you." The boy smiled. "Jeje." Abooksigun sighed. "Well, Jeje, you see you're paying attention, so wills it so you won't get a crook in your neck." Abooksigun sat down in the porch. As he was saying, since you have been in this land, they said continuously, stop complaining, for that was a long time ago, when it was only 10 years since Jim Crow and redlining. Then he repeated when it was 25 and over 50 years since the inequality, but it persists with systemic racism in every direction. They called us many names in this land, but did you know the word Christian was used in the same context as those who believed in Shika? All this took place many centuries ago, and we still are slaves to our oppressors. Sure, there was a Greek for centuries when we lived in our own and in peace, but the Benin's came and repeat the test one more time. To hold us down and brainwash us from the reality of whole. Yeah, the chosen people of Siboth. We are columnists us back home because we are in a dasan. And it is competence and violence. But this names mean nothing to us as far as it is concerned with Siboth, but for in this plant, in this world, it meant something to labelings of visitors of superiority, not identity. Instead of just telling the truth and acting their wrongs, our past government and this regime is things like critical race theory, which is nothing more than lies. However, back then, we were not labeled as anarchists, competents, and violence but by colors, red, brown, yellow, and of course, black and white. What has African Atlantis theory, white men like to love urbanist create more division and madness between us to ease their conscience. With its flag, that division grew into what we are today. How many of you know that the violence and Slavic competence and anarchists during the Malawido appear? Back then, we had what they called griots. Griots were traveling poets, musicians, and storytellers who maintained our tradition with oral history. Griots were just like the Native American tribal elders, African Akbalan, whereas men who were not known for reading, especially not reading. Tis a people tell us of a story, but that's another story. In getting off subject, around this time, according to the griots, millions the way to appear accepted Muslim way of life. Slavery became a lifestyle in places like Gao, Kano, Tikur, and Timbuktu at the peak of the Trans-Saharan trade. Commercial inheritance between the Arab world of North Africa and the Persian Gulf and Sub-Saharan Africa until leading trade were gold and salt. Gold was abundant in the western part of Africa but scarce in North Africa, bringing about riches and foreign cultures. This young ideology of Islam borrowed a steady flow of slaves from the Mediterranean to North Africa and West Africa to the Arabian Peninsula. Muslims in North Africa enslaved. Amul and Romorianikitis and Cupidans. The earliest known contact between Greece and Africa occurred in the Bronze Age when the Minoans began to trade with Egypt. The first narrative is mentioned in Greek connection with Africa in the Amharic poems. Slavery was widespread in the ancient world. It was found in almost every ancient civilization, including the Roman Empire. It became less common throughout Europe during the early Middle Ages, although it continued to be practiced. Christians and Muslims captured and enslaved each other during centuries of warfare in the Mediterranean. Islamic slavery encompassed Western and Central Asia, Northern and Eastern Africa, India, and Europe. However, the trade of humans by the Arabs lasted 1,000 years, even before the European transatlantic slave trade. While the European transatlantic slave trade was racial, the Arab slave trade was about religion and the economic gains that came with it. The word allows conquering enslavement, and these allows were taken seriously. Many West African groups embraced the Arabian Peninsula's ballot system to avoid capture and enslavement. For the kings and princes of West Africa, becoming a Muslim meant that the markets of the Mediterranean were open to the Middle East with the chief Muslim civil and religious leaders, whom they regarded as the successor of Muhammad in Arabia. Slaves from Europe and Africa were given as homage, and some slaves were even sold to officer rulers, kings, and princes from North Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, and the Middle Empire. The enslavement of Europeans brought into North Africa and the Arabian Peninsula was expanded, and slavery was so intense that most of the coastal towns in Europe were vacated. Most of the enslaved, captured by the Warannians and Vanes, were sold to the Arabs or Jewish merchants from Cordoba, who were Europeans. Mullah Ismail of Magnus, Morocco, had 25,000 European slaves who had taken part in building his stables. The Mullah ruled Egypt, while Mensa Suleiman ruled the Mullah Empire after the death of Mensa Musa. The Africans and Arabs in southern Europe introduced gunpowder into Europe even though it came in function at rockets across during the incursion of Genghis Khan, which gave birth to the invention of firing sticks, which later were called firearms or guns. A man named Lonzo approached Abooksigun. So, you are saying the Muslims creed Ardilma? Have you know, I'm Muslim. Before Abooksigun called say a word, Lonzo interrupted him. Allah searches the heart of men and sees if it's true. And the man walked off. Abooksigun shook his head and continued, Europe had developed this technology to protect Europeans against Europeans and the barbarian tribal wars that stretched into the Middle Ages. But during the Renaissance era, when Europe broke away from the direct conditions of the Dark Ages and most of Europe had degenerated back to primitive life after the fall of the Roman Empire. Nationalism. Great Europeans scattered tribal groups under the Papacy, and Pope Nicholas wrote a papal bull declaring all Moors, Syrians, and non-Christian, blacking people to slavery. The Moors in Spain surrendered their castles, with Spain claiming more of the Moorish territories. The persecutions that followed were so much so that the new Sultan of the Ottoman Empire had thousands steps to escort fleeing Jews to settle in his conquered lands. By this time, Columbus had stumbled on America's lands while seeking a western route to Asia because the Athens had already taken over the Silk Road in the east. The Africans in Spain were the first group to be shipped as slaves to the Americas from Spain. Next in line were the West Africans who were craftsmen, sailors, blacksmiths, masons, planters, traders, fishers, goldsmiths, each to the plantations of the Americas. Judge asked him, what is the difference between slavery and human trafficking? Abooksigun smiled and sighed, human trafficking is when someone is moved from one place to another for enslavement. Slavery is the exploitation that happens when they arrive. Abooksigun, out of breath, but he'll finish by saying, but in idea to look up the spotlight more such as Yuri, the great, not love, loves Barkfell, Kamei of Bechunaland, Shinimur do Bok Derive Impur, and the Inisive of Ethiopia. Judge raised his hands. Abooksigun pointed at him, yes. The little boy said, how? Confused, Abooksigun said to him, how wait? Judge said, how do we find this information? We don't have books, and he don't know who to read. Abooksigun was surprised, well fixed. Because there's an African proverb that says, knowledge is a garden. If it isn't cultivated, You can't harvest it. So, they probably asked him questions, and he answered them all day. After sunset, they started building a bonfire, and Abooksigun talked as his father. But he also remembered how his father had to repeat himself repeatedly for the new people who came along, so he asked to build on, how do we get to both out other seeds so we can't eat those? Odin said, you asked the impossible, for that plague is not heaven, and Lord knows how long we will be here before someone comes along and figure out that we're not supposed to be here. The seed of the wall is heaven compared to altogether. And I'm sorry that you will be disappointed and angry as well. Just give us time to build what we have, and we need to discuss the matter with the major before we can even discuss that part anyways. Abooksigun looked at Odin. We were not sent here to be carried. What, you've little faith. Take Debra with you, set up a meeting ASAP, and get back to me. Lana looks up Abooksigun. You speak to this people as they understand you. These Jews were treated like dirt before they were 15 and act like sex work is a profession. The boys also have been introduced to sex at an early age. When these Jews are tired of a thing or being treated like horse, these same boys become men and refuse to marry any of them. This a lonely ass woman now and marry but are treated like poison ivy. Marry demon uses less than on a perfect. They grow old and lonely, and diminutive. Streetwalkers as toys of faggot at shame to grow old and hardly in around her believers in married. Lolanda walked off, and Abooksigun asked, who is he? They replied, the townsfolk. Abooksigun was saddened, the prophetessical oxide, alarm create nature and man imperfect in, so how did we get to the current state of degeneration we are in? This was not God's plan. If it was it was a perfect plan. To correct this, you must remove the evil or change the plan. Or what you will have is a perfect evil plan. Calvary removed the glitch and saved the plan. At the same time, Abooksigun was speaking black and handy as a constable, a cooking and Debra. Bottledon senses his deserts and immediately stops them by entering. Black and Hound's meant. Don't you dare, Hound. Told Murphyson the line to throw it away behind blunt lust. Black and Hound chuckles to himself, you are truly fatter Methuselah. He cackles. Odin looks directly at Black and Hound. These Jews have gone through hell. All three have been abused and have no control over their powers that can destroy whole continents. Black and Hound says, so, we not taking his powers further. Says this war. Although it tied with his mid making it so Black and Hound went watching where he was going as he walked toward the bunker. Odin snapped viciously at him. You will stay away from these Jews, or he will make you a true Black and Hound. Black and Hound realizes his boats have carried fear. He jumps up immediately, screaming and patting his boats quickly, trying to extinguish the fear. I quickly noticed Black and Hound's boats get fury and pulls muster from the air, forming a blob of water that drops directly on top of Black and Hound. Relieved that the flames have been extinguished, Black and Hound stands up and walks off, embarrassed. What happened? Constable sighs. He gets all close to the flames like a fall. Says. A cooking sighs. A constable nods in agreement. After the incident, Debra gets up and walks after him. But where are you going? A cooking asked. Debra looks back at cooking, says nothing, and goes after Black and Hound anyway. But before Debra walks into her father's former home, Odin enters her immediate again. Don't, Debra. Odin will freeze Debra in place. Say grabs boxes of her temple. Get out of me head, Odin. You're not me. Father. You don't have to listen to you. Say also out loud. From a dark distant hallway, Black and Hound notices Debra talking to herself. He glances to himself and slowly steps out of the shadows. Demon talks to you as well, sighed Black Hound. Debra jumps at the sound of Black and Hound's fuzzy and smooth voice, and she nervously replies, it's nothing. Yeah, you was coming to see. He interrupts her. What trouble you can get yourself into? Black and Hound finishes her sentence. Me. Dear. Gerald. He closes the distance between him and Debra. Debra is struck with fear as Sisters in the black and hounds überharden days, rated moonlight glistens off, revealing the flecks of gold studded rough officers in purple. Sea backs up slowly into a wall. Deborah's heart is studying out of her chest. Black and hound is closing out that their lips cold touch. He lifts his right forearm against the wall above Deborah's head. Do you like beneath his closed door diner, Joel? Scene of also replace, is it been closed door diner and in diner before? You do not scare him. Black and hound is amused by Deborah's Belfast lay and her hand stay at the same time. Her pulse had blade out quickly and holds it to Deborah's left jugular vein. He was testing to fear in her. Deborah holds her breath and closes her eyes tightly. The squeals, now I needed that black and hound will kill her. But he doesn't. He leans closer to the left side of her head and sniffs her hair to familiarize himself with Deborah's scent. Black and hound smells as he thinks about the words of Abooksigun and walks away. Tailed man in Shakida right, yuck now. Go back to the bonfire. Black and hound's hair blows into wind as it disappears into the shadows of the hallway. Deborah is breathing hard and feeling all of her emotions racing through her. She leaves Jeff's house and returns to the bonfire, where Abooksigun finishes his speech. She sits next to Knen, who looks at Deborah suspiciously but says nothing.